morning, everyone. All you drummers, guitar players, accordion players, harmonica gurus. I know a lot of you expected me to talk about horns today, but I thought I would close that chapter for a moment and move on to something that I'm really interested in showing everybody, and it involves scales and chords. And I know many of you are accomplished musicians and are familiar with scales and chords, but I learned a way that really made it all come together for me regarding jazz and that sort of thing. And even if you're just playing rock and roll or blues, this is also good to know. We're going to talk about all the different scales, how chords work with scales. There's a reason why chords follow each other. It's like, I always say, it's like words in a sentence. There's a reason that C, G, and C, work, or C, F, G work, or D minor, G, C work. And it's everything starts with the scale, not the chord so much as the scale. And there are pentatonics. There's a couple of exotic jazz scales, but primarily, if you're talking about major, which is Ionian mode, you have Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. Those are our modes, and those are minor, major scales, and so forth. And the only difference between one scale is the next is there's two sets of half steps in each of those scales, and it all is determined on where those two sets of half steps fall. So that when you start on any key, just pick a note, C sharp major scale, knowing that where those half steps fall between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. So let's start really easy and start with the C major scale. So here we have, here's my keyboard. I hope you can see this. C is all the white notes, okay? So it's easy to start with. So basically, we know what a half step, assuming we all know what a half step and a whole step is. A half step is the nearest neighbor. So from C to C sharp would be a half step. E to F would be a half step. B to C is a half step. A, any of these, okay? So a whole step, two halves equal a whole, right? So C, D is a whole step up from C, so it's two half steps. Half, half. F sharp or G flat is a whole step up from E, so F, E. So pretty easy. And all the frets on your guitar, they're all half steps, right? So in a major scale, there's two sets of half steps in all the scales except for pentatonics and diminished half step and all that kind of stuff. So the half steps fall between. What we want to do first with our scales is, forget the C. Well, don't forget it, but we need to relate to everything in numbers, because you always hear 1 chord, 2 chord, 4 chord, the 5 chord. Okay, so let's talk in those terms. So C, D, E, F. So C to D. So the half steps in a major scale. Well, let's start here. Here's C is the 1, 2. If we give numbers to all these, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 1 again, and then on 2, 3, 4, on up the scale. This little thing here is 2 octaves. So if the half steps fall between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 on a major scale, it's right here, right there. There's our half steps right there. God, I hope you can see this. Okay, so that means we can. So let's say we want to start on. Where's my rag? Oh, there's my rag. I'll be right back. For some reason, these new markers I bought, they wipe off, but you got to use water, which I really hate. They're messy. Okay? So, let's say that we were going to start on, let's say we want to start a major scale on D. So, here is D is your 1. And you want to go, so the half step would be, here's the notes in your D scale. Okay? 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 again. Okay? So, here's your half steps between, again, major scale, half steps between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. So on a D, so let's say we want to start on a D. So between D and E is a whole step, 2 halves, whole. 2 and 3 is a whole step, so whole step, and the half steps fall between 3 and 4 right here. Here's where your half steps fall, and 7 and 8 right there. And everything else is a whole step, okay? So that's in the key of D. Let's say you want to start in the key of A, let me see, A flat. So where's A flat or G sharp? Okay. Typically it's referred to as G flat. That's a whole nother subject. So here's A flat. So there's 1 whole step, whole step. Here's your half step between 3 and 4. 5 whole step, 6, 7, and 1 again. Okay, and here's your half step here, A flat, B flat. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And there you have it. Okay? So that is that's a major scale. And we're going to cover more scales. And basically, when you look at the chords, let's go back to our C scale. The C is the C major triad is the 1, 3, and the 5 of C. Okay, in the key of C. So our one chord, when you talk one chord, that's the home chord of the key, the root, the tonic. So if we're in the key of C, the one chord is C. Oh, there's the A timer. Anyway, and so if we're in the key of C, here's C, and the chord is built in with 3 notes, triad, right? So it's the 1, 3, and the 5, and that's your, here's C right here. Here's C. This is a treble clef right here. C, E, G. Okay, and that's C major, and that is chord. I learned a process called chord families, and chord family 1 is 1 in major. Okay, a 1 in minor is a different kind of chord, but a 1 in major has a major third, and it's a 1 in major, chord family 1. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. We're in the next session. We're going to move on and talk more about scales and chords and that sort of thing. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.